How do we fix this? We need to teach at university, as I've already said, not just training on location when it's almost too late. Though there have been attempts to minimize the gaps between the general population of schools and the remainder population of children with a disability, the fault lies on the content taught in universities. How to adjust to disabilities, how to adjust to people with disabilities, and how to teach them from a pedagogical viewpoint. Although there are some units, such as Classroom Without Borders, offered at universities in an attempt to combat differences in upbringings of children in the school environment, there is not a clear unit offered for teaching children with disabilities. This is a fault in the university system. Through more research, the MSSD initiative, or More Support for Students with Disabilities initiative, has in 2014 funded a total of $300 million over 3 years to non-government education authorities. The additional funding was provided until the end of 2014 school year to support services for students with disability and learning difficulties. The purpose of this initiative was to fund principal and teacher training, equipment, and technology resources for students and schools. I would like to talk about my own experiences in relation to what I've already discussed in my assignment. I am an educator for the YMCA, and I work before and after school shifts. I consider myself lucky as a studying teacher and an active educator, as I have the opportunity that many of my peers do not have. I work with some children from kindergarten to year 6. Some have disabilities and some who do not. The children who have disabilities, even though these are mild conditions, I have learned to change my approach depending on the academic intake level and help them stimulate their knowledge in the environment that we provide them. It is important to be understanding and empathetic in situations such as this to optimize all parties that are involved. I, however, have learned this whilst working. I have not learned this in university where it should be taught. Another vital point of this is that we must consult with the students, the teachers, and the parents to help understand the student and get on a professional yet personal level with them to allow the most potential in their learning. But who does consultation involve? Consultation can involve, as I mentioned before, the student, the teachers, principals, support teachers, anybody affected or that can help from the situation, and can include the professional expertise of therapists and other community service providers if needed. The purpose of the consultation is to identify the barriers to a student's learning and any adjustments that could be made. These should be taken regularly and changes should be made if needed. This should continue for the whole duration that the student is at the school. On the same basis, which is used quite regularly, is to mean that a student with a disability should have access to the same opportunities and choices in their education that are available to a student without a disability. It also means that students with disabilities are entitled to rigorous, relevant, and engaging learning opportunities drawn from the Australian curriculum and set in age-equivalent learning contexts. It does not mean that every student has the same experience, but they are entitled to equitable opportunities and choices to access age-equivalent content from all learning areas of the Australian curriculum. Access is the key. on the same basis means that while all students will access age equivalent content, the way in which they access it and the focus of their learning may vary according to their individual learning needs, strengths, goals, and interests, which is important to note. Many resources emphasize that this is on a case-to-case basis, and notes that many students with disability are able to achieve educational standards on par with their peers. Not all students with a disability will require adjustments to the curriculum, instruction, or the environment. Not all students requiring adjustments to the curriculum, instruction, or environment will have a disability. Students with a disability requiring adjustments to one aspect of their learning may not require the same adjustment, if any, to another. To comply with the standards, consultation includes the student and parent as part of the process to personalize learning, as previously discussed in my assignment. Students with the same disability may not require equivalent adjustments. Not every student with a disability will require ongoing adjustments, and students with disabilities may also be gifted and talented in other aspects and or have English as an additional language. These are all important notes to remember, as it emphasizes each case is its own and does not follow certain guidelines at all times.